Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot Connection with another installment of Shared Trait Spotlight. And today we'll be looking once again at the recent Fantastic Four HeroClix set and at the traits representing the alternate versions and homages to the Fantastic Four. So, as I've mentioned previously, the first truly new Fantastic Four debuted back in the pages of Fantastic Four number 347 back in 1990. It was a two-part. As I recall, it was a two-part story in 347 and 348, wherein a Skrull masquerading as the Invisible Woman recruited Ghost Rider, Spider-Man, Hulk, and Wolverine to avenge the slain Fantastic Four. The ruse was discovered. The FF and the new FF joined forces saved, and the day was saved. You know, and they were, and also all four of them remained on Reed's speed dial in the event of needing someone to cover. In the event of needing someone to cover a spot on the team for a moment. And it's been one of the more enduring concepts, and to the point where there have been what ifs focusing on the idea of the new FF staying together, and there have also been homages to the new FF, which usually have a similar flow to them. Of you have a character, you have a Spirit of Vengeance, you have a Spider-Man related character, a Hulk, and a Wolverine, which basically is just really meant X-23. So the first homage to the new FF was the Circle of Four. The Circle of Four consisted of X-23, the Alejandro Jones Ghost Rider, Agent Venom, and Red Hulk. I have the Red Hulk from FF, but I'm really not enthused with the figures, so yeah, we're not really going to focus too much on him. In HeroClix, the Circle of Four got their own keyword years ago, and while there's only one previous version of Alejandro before the FF set, Agent Venom, X-23, and Red Hulk did get quite a few versions. And there was also a Venom, Red Hulk, Spirit of Vengeance big figure. It's on a peanut base. It's on a vehicle size. It's a vehicle size peanut base, and yeah. And finally we had the Four Shield Beast Hunters, as they're referred to in the set. The Four Shield Beast Hunters consisted of X-23, after she took on the mantle of Wolverine, the Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider, Silk, and the Amadeus Cho Hulk. It's actually a story I'm very unfamiliar. I'm even less familiar with that than I am with Circle of Four. But yeah. So anyway, in the Fantastic Four set, each of these alternate versions of the Fantastic Four were given each given a trait to kind of get their flavor out there. So the new FF actually gets two traits. They have one which works the same but does something different for each one of the four members, and then they have one that's just the same regardless. So the one that's the same regardless is the new Fantastic Four. The way it reads is it gives each character passenger one, but only characters with the Fantastic Four keyword. Once per turn, when they're carried and placed adjacent to two or more opposing characters, after resolutions, whichever one may make a close attack, which currently is being looked at as being a reaction, not an action. Kind of like how I was wrong on this a while back, but kind of like how. If you use probability control, it's not a free action, you're just doing it. Anywho, so our four members, we've got Ghost Rider, who's the Danny Ketch Ghost Rider, who comes in the Fast Forces. And honestly, I love the sculpt. I mean, they did a bang up job on him. So, like the other members of the like the other figures of the Fast Forces, Danny comes in at 75 points or 50 points. He's got the Fantastic Four and Mystics team abilities, as well as the Fantastic Four, Marvel Knights, Midnight Suns, and mystical keywords. Now, I mentioned that that each of the new FF members has a same but slightly different trait. That one called a new kind of fantastic teamwork. Now, the way a new kind of fantastic teamwork goes is when a character with the trait hits with a close attack until your next turn, other friendly characters with the FF keyword can use a specific power or ability. For Ghost Rider, it's exploit weakness. Then we got the common Spider-Man, comes in at 75 points. Has the FF team ability as well as the Spider-Man ally team ability, making him a wild card. You have the Fantastic Four, Spider-Man family, reporter and scientist keywords, as well as improved movement, elevated, hindering, and characters. And he gives that improved movement to friendly characters with the FF keyword when he hits with a close attack. Next up, we've got the Hulk. Hulk comes in at 75 points. He's an uncommon. He has the FF and monster keywords as well as the Fantastic Four team ability. And he grants charge with a new kind of fantastic teamwork. Now, Wolverine is going to make it this here. Now, next up, we've got Wolverine. Also coming in at 75 points. He's got the Fantastic Four, Weapon X, and X-Men keywords, no team ability, and he grants Flurry with a new kind of fantastic teamwork. So on the downside is that Ghost Rider and Wolverine don't entirely work well together, as you can't use exploit weakness and Flurry together. However, each of them work great with Spider-Man and Hulk. So yeah. Also, at the end of this, we will be building a few teams with the one to focus on the new FF, one to focus on the other alternate FFs, with some added bonuses, or with some added FF members. Now, I don't yet have the Agent Venom from the current set, so I can't really say one way or the other how good he is. I do like the fact that he basically has a kind of reverse call-in help trait. Basically, if no other friendly character has been placed this turn, you can roll a d6, and on a 5 or a 6, place him next to a character who just hit an opposing character and make an attack. Kind of like calling help from the Spider-Verse or calling help from the Venomverse. But first, anyways, let's take a look at X-23 from Circle of 4. There's a good look at her sculpt. She comes in at 50 points, has the Team Player Wildcard ability, as well as improved movement or hindering terrain. She also has the all-new X-Men, Fantastic Four, Weapon X, X-Force, X-Men, and Detective keywords. And she has the Circle of 4 trait, as well as a healing trait, because, well, Wolverine characters have healing traits. But the Circle of 4 trait works like this. If the character who has the trait hasn't been moved or placed this turn, modify attack and damage by +1. So, if they're, for example, if Ghost Rider here were to use his Passenger 1 ability and carry X-23, well, the next turn, since she doesn't have since she can't make an attack after she's been carried, on the next turn, provided she hasn't been moved or placed yet, she gets she gets, +1 to her attack and damage. Her attack that only gets as low as a 10, and as high as an 11, so up to a 12, and her damage can get up to 4. At the most 4, at the least 3. Okay, so that can be very useful. Next up, we've also got Ghost Rider, Alejandra Jones version. This is the second Alejandra that's been made for the game. The previous one was, if I remember correctly, a convention exclusive a few years back, and therefore not very easy to lay hands on. The venue I used to play at got one, and we used it as a prize figure once. We made a point of saying, okay, yeah, we're gonna chip into that can be prize, and I didn't win it. But Ghost Rider comes in at 50 points. Has the Codex, Fantastic Four, Monster, and Mystical keywords. She actually, however, does not have the Circle of Four trait. In fact, the Prime version of her does, which is her on her motorcycle, actually does. It seems the non-Prime is actually based more on the Symbiote of Vengeance one-shot from Absolute Carnage. But, so yeah. So I probably shouldn't have included her in this, or at least looked at. I honestly thought it went the other way around when it came to which one had the trait, and which one didn't. But that's what I get for assuming, right? So yeah. Anywho, next up we've got Robbie Reyes with the Shield Beast Hunters. The game's second Robbie Reyes figure, the first one being a chase from Captain America and the Avengers. Robbie comes in at either 80 points or 40 points. He has the Fantastic Four and Mystics team ability, as well as the Fantastic Four, Shield, and Mystical keywords, and improved movement ignores hindering terrain. And now we get the four Shield Beast Hunters trait, which Ghost Rider, Common All-New Wolverine, Amadeus Cho, Hulk, and Silk all possess. When Ghost Rider is given a move action, after resolutions, remove an action token from him and he can use stealth until your next turn. Okay, alright, that's kind of neat. So, now bear in mind, that's not when he's moved, but if you just say, be like, okay, he's in the starting area. Okay, well, I'm going to move him over here, put him in a square of hindering. Then he's got stealth. And he gets to remove an action token. So, all in all, not too shabby. And like I said, the common all-new Wolverine does the same thing. But, so let's take a look at the potential teams for these. We're gonna have one that's gonna focus on the new FF. So the four members of the new Fantastic Four actually come in at an even 300 points. You could run them all together as a standard team in a standard game. However, I do kind of like to, have a little more wiggle room. So, we're going to make this a 500 point team. And we're going to add three figures. The rare Mr. Fantastic. Who has outwit with a range of 10 and but can't be outwitted in return. And, well, yeah, that's his dial there. The full runner shape of plasticity. We get some quake, some steel energy, combat reflexes, toughness, and even some close combat expert at the end. Next up, we've got the rare Invisible Woman, also at 75 points. Mainly utilizing her for that, for the probability control. But here's a quick look at her dial. And she also brings the shield team ability for Spidey to copy if he so desires. And she also has a trait. Yeah, my power set is really good for espionage, which grants her stealth and improved targeting in North hindering terrain. Furthermore, adjacent friendly characters that share a keyword with her can use stealth and improve targeting in North hindering terrain, which is going to really come in handy for the 7th member of this team. Yeah, Black Leopard. So Black Leopard here comes in at 50 points. Has the Avengers, Fantastic Four, Wakanda, River, and Warrior keywords, improved movement in North hindering terrain. There's a quick look at his dial. Charge, Flurry, Stealth, Blades and Precision Strike, Indomitable, Combat Reflexes and Super Senses. You got a special power on damage, followed by Perplex. And so, but the big thing here is his trait to fight for equality in Rudyarda. This one here. Basically, this is actually what makes Black Leopard such an amazing figure, to be completely honest. The maximum attack, defense, and damage values of opposing characters within 6 squares in line of fire are each equal to Black Leopard's printed value of that type. So, the idea then becomes that you have Invisible Woman toting around Black Leopard. And he basically then gets to, he really gets to mess with your opponent then. And I've seen it happen, and it works out, and it usually works out quite well. So, but yeah, the basic idea here though is we got some quality outwit, and if you put Mr. Fantastic keep Mr. Fantastic and Black Leopard adjacent to Invisible Woman, then he can ignore him. He doesn't have to worry about stealth he doesn't have to worry about opposing figure's stealth, which makes it a lot easier for him to outwit opposing things. And you basically can have the new FF carrying each other around to lay the smack down. Especially with Hulk potentially giving out charge to everyone, Wolverine giving flurry, so on and so forth. And while, it doesn't really work too well with, Wolverine giving flurry and Ghost Rider giving exploit weakness, there is an upside to that, as you could say, you know what, I'm just going to go with the exploit weakness. That way, penetrating damage. So, now let's take a look at the other alternate Fantastic Four ability. Let's see what we can build with the other alternate Fantastic Four groupings. Where did I put them just now? Okay, so we've got Ghost Rider at 80 points. Where did the other two go? Where did they go? Oh, there they are. Then we've got X23 and, well, Ghost Rider at 50 points. So that gives us a whopping 180 points. So what do we do? Where do we go from here? Well, first off, we'll add a few, we'll make a few additions to get it up to at least 300. Sheath, in this case, the common Human Torch. Look at that awe-inspiring sculpt. Woo, isn't it amazing? Human Torch comes in at 40 points. He has the Spider-Man Ally team ability as well as the Fantastic Four team ability. He's got, at 40 points, he has a rather short dial, as you can see, just 4 clicks. Starts and ends with running shot. He's got that last click on defense is a stop click, but only for another character with the FF keyword within 4 squares. It's actually very similar to the starter Human Torch. Then we've got the common She-Thing, who also comes in at 40 points. Quick look at her dial. We get some charge and some plasticity, super strength and quake, full run of toughness. You know, not bad for a brick. And she can also, she has a trait called Unlimited Class Wrestling. Once she makes a close attack, after resolutions, you may place a hit character in an adjacent square to her. Also, Human Torch has a trait called In the Beginning. Human Torch increases his attack total by +1 for each 4 in his finalized attack roll. Meaning he can get up to a +2 on his attack roll if he rolls an 8. A hard 8. 2 4s as an 8. And finally, we have Valeria Richards, the daughter of Reed and Sue. Valeria also comes in at 40 points. She's got the Fantastic Four keyword, sidestep, inertial deflection, mastermind. Now, as you can tell, we've got 2 special powers. Her attack power, which she's got for her whole dial, says, let's see, what can I make with this? Free. Choose a standard attack power. Valeria can use that power this turn. On the damage power she's got, here, Uncle, I built this for you. Perplex with a range of 8. Unique modifier, when she uses Perplex to target another character that shares a keyword, she may instead modify a value other than damage by +2. Okay, alright. So that brings us up to 300. But we're still missing a few things. I mean, yeah, we got some Perplex, which is always nice. We've got a few range attacks, a few close attackers, you know. But not a lot of support powers. So we'll bring in the rare Mr. Fantastic, rare Invisible Woman, and Black Leopard as well. Making this another 500-point team. So, it's actually quite the 500-point team. 9 figures, wow. But yeah. And the same thing goes with a lot of the strategy remains the same. Though also this time you kind of want to keep Valeria adjacent to, well, not so much because I think you're mostly going to be worrying about perplexing up defenses by 2 or attack buddies by 2. So, but of course you want to keep Invisible Woman and at least Black Panther adjacent to one another, if not also Mr. Fantastic adjacent to her, so that she can give off that ignores hindering terrain, improved targeting. Hell, we could even turn this into an 800 point team by adding in the new FF as well. That would make for one hell of a... Like I said, that is only 800 points. 800 points, 13 characters. And it's not a generic swarm team like would usually be the case in a build like when you hear about a build like that. Of course, it does help that the Fantastic Four set has so many really low point figures like She-Thing, the common members of the FF, and Valeria, all coming in at 40 points apiece. So yeah. But anyway, of the various alternate FFs, I'm kind of digging how the new FF works the most because they've got 2 different things they can do. They all get to carry passengers, and they all get to make it when carried. They get to make an attack afterwards. Now, a fun combo to use instead of the Booster Hulk would be the Fast Forces Hulk, who has the Underworld team ability, which allows him to carry it, which is in Passenger 1, or Passenger 2 if its character shares a keyword with if both characters share a keyword with him. So he could, for example, carry, say, Wolverine and Spider-Man while doing a charge. Or, I'm not sure if he's got charge, but doing some kind of move. And then Wolverine can do his flurry. Spider-Man can then potentially use flurry as well, or just, make an attack. Yeah, it kind of gets nasty. But anyway, that's it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off, saying live long and rock hard.